Hi everyone. Just wanted to give a report back. This is my home church, so I just wanted to say what the Lord has been up to. And every tour is a bit different. So this time throughout, there's 18 prisons. I had 17 booked, and 3 fell through along the way. And so I had to keep strong, and I had 3 roadies throughout, each for around about 10-12 days throughout the nation. We went from the south through the middle and through to the north. And God moved. I just did the numbers this morning, and apparently 987 prisoners came to each of my concerts. So they were all gospel shows where we sang a gospel message, not in a religious way, but in a way that can connect to people wherever they are. We've had a lot of favour in Otago, where previously I'd had disfavour in the South Island, all of the South Island. Now we've got a new chap in charge of the region, of the chaplaincy, and he is so for what we do. In fact, he said, please can you bring your husband down when we were down in January and have a cup of tea with him and the prison director so they can feed forward how much Dave supports what I do, because the rumours have been going through that my husband doesn't support it and just all the stuff that the enemy makes up. And Dave goes, try and stop her. So we had incredible favour from the bottom up. We had warm, attentive souls. We had, one report I put, stunned mullets. You know, people had absolutely different reactions all the way through. Some people didn't know what to do, what to say. We had hongies, we had handshakes, we had huckers, we had waiata sung back to us. We had guards in tears. One guard came up to us. He was a senior officer in Rimitaka prison, and he was in the high dependency unit. It's basically a retirement place where the prisoners go and they die there. They get looked after until they die. And there was this one old chap who was one of the prisoners, and he's never connected with anyone or anything at any time since he's been there. And this man put his arms in the air. We were singing Amazing Grace. We sang He Walks With Me. I never know what I'm going to sing until I get there, but the Lord shows me. And this man, arms in the air, sang along, and he was utterly connected. And that moved the guard so much that he cried. So the Lord is moving. We got shortcut quite a lot of numbers. So with the 3 prisons we didn't go to, there was 11 concerts that got cancelled. And to stay strong and keep relying on God and pressing in and asking for more prayer, which sustained us. Every time I had a whole prison cancelled, just on the day, there was 2 of those, on the day cancelled, I was sent a huge headache. I could barely lift my head, you know, like a hangover kind of, not that I've ever had a hangover. We had interference, and not to give glory to it, but to say how the enemy sees that God is moving and doesn't like it. So we had little zip-zap noises, poltergeist sounds jumping between instruments and zapping out of this and that. My piano went quiet, completely quiet. You turn it up, it wouldn't work. Turn it off and on, wouldn't work. We'd like pray, get my prayer warrior, pray. Oh, starts working again. And so, yeah. We had lights flickering in Tongariro prison every time we were singing Owen's song. Owen Pomana, who came here for the Full Gospel Businessmen's meeting, his song, his life story is so powerful. When that song was being sung, the lights flickered on and off like a horror movie, and all the prisoners were going, that is so weird. And then I motioned to Pastor Mike, who was my roadie, while I'm halfway through the song, and he said quietly, you stop that in Jesus' name. And the prisoners sitting near to him could hear him. They were more freaked out about him having authority to tell the lights what was interfering with the lights, the influence that we had to stop it. So that was interesting. Oh, my guitar fell off twice in one. I got 7 shows cancelled, and then I managed to get 1 instead in that place that was in Christchurch. There's a lot of interference in Christchurch. So my guitar fell off 2 times in the first song. There's no reason for it to fall off. Both times I caught it and just held it out, carried on playing the piano with my other hand, and carried on singing until my roadie grabbed the guitar, put the put it back together and gave it to me. And it happened again. There was no reason for that. And so I was able to say to them, this is distraction. This is what addiction is. This is what the enemy sends us. So keep your main thing, and don't let anything distract you. Get on board with what God says He has for your life, and go for it. And don't let any little distraction come and block you out of the way. So everything turned into a sermon, whatever the enemy sent. We're like, if I made a mistake, I'd stop and say, have anyone ever made a mistake here? And they'd all laugh and go, oh, that's why we're here, kind of really. And I'd be like, so what do we do when we make a mistake? And it's like, actually, we need to face up to it. Actually, we need to learn to apologise. Actually, we need to put things right as much as we can. Get right with God. Get right with man. Get right with people. And so everything was an object lesson, and they got it. We did the forgiveness. We had joy. We had joy in Paremoremo prison, the highest security prison. I had limited numbers coming into my concerts. In fact, one concert there we had 2 guys. And God got both of them. One of them we had about 8 guys, and they seemed kind of laid back and withdrawn, and one was looking at the wall. And 2 of them got up and danced in the last 2 songs, absolutely riotously, joyfully. And a guy sat at the back who had never seen anything like that and laughed and laughed and laughed. And I was able to say at the end, do you know what just happened? And they said, no, we have no idea what just happened. I said, that was joy. Joy broke out. And the reason you're laughing is because God's got a hold of you. And the reason they're dancing is because they can't help it. They can't even stop their legs from dancing. And the guy looking at the wall, he was contemplating how he could get me to sign the albums that he'd bought 5 years ago in a different prison, in the Serco jail. And so he wanted me to sign them so he could take it away as a keepsake. We had mama hugs. You go in there and there's guys that just like, you're not allowed to hug anybody, but sometimes they come up before anybody can stop you, and they're like, I just need a hug. And so they got their mama hugs. We had guys in some jails, they were doing jobs like they were the caterers or cleaners or laundry and stuff like that. And we met them along the way, and they would normally have a concert and they would normally come. But they couldn't make it because of the day of the week and the timing of the concert. And they found out that I was there, and they were distraught. They were beside themselves going, what? We're going to miss out on the concert today? You're here and we're not going to get one? And so each one that we came across, we held their hands and looked in their eyes, and we blessed them and we blessed their whānau. We said, God be with you. He is with you. Hold on to Him. Whatever you do, don't let go, because He's never going to let go of you. We got into Manawa 2 prison. They said several times, you can't come. And I said, surely I can come. They said, no, you can't come. They said, well, we've closed the side entrance. We've got asbestos renos. We've got all this stuff. It's just going to be too tricky. You can't have the gym. You can't have the chapel. You can't have anywhere except tiny, teeny little rooms. And I said, I'll take it. And prayed. How do I face this? What do you want? And they said, what gear can you do without? I said, I could do half. And they said, no, that's not good enough. You can only tune up with your guitar, that's it. Nothing else. At the last minute, they let my iPad in, just by the skin of my teeth, so that I could remember the songs to sing. And we did 5 concerts. One of them had 35 guys. Most of them were teeny tiny little rooms where they were stashed all these guys in there. They're little laundry rooms, like a little clothing drying, airing room, or little tiny little spaces that were really echoey. So the sound sounded actually good. And we prayed, the prayer warrior prayed that the voice carried, that the anointing come. And in every one of them it did. We actually got put in the pound. They said, you've got 20 minutes, do you want to go to the pound? I was like, yeah, I want to go there, what's that? And so we had these 3 guys, two were in cells, down on their face, looking up through the grill. That's the only way they could see out. There was this little wee grill, and they flip it open, and they had their hands in their eyes sticking up, talking to me. And there was a guy in the rec area, which was a cold, horrible concrete floor, just with the wind and the air coming in on a freezing cold day. And he just had a blanket. He was sitting on this blanket, and they were in the pound because they'd been super naughty, whatever that is. And so they're locked up away from everybody else, and they were trying to play cards together, the 3 of them, throwing a card across and reaching out and trying to get the wind and trying to get the cards to, and we went in there, And they said, please sing with us. Just sing us anything we can sing back to you. So they actually asked for Jesus Got Heaps of Lambs. So we did Jesus Got Heaps of Lambs, and I have decided to follow Jesus, and anything country with a bit of yee-haw. And these boys were absolutely rejoicing. And one guy, I went down and blessed them individually, and one guy held my hand and he cried and he said, my wahine's due to give birth. He said it in a very choice words. Due to give birth today. Can you pray for her? So he was about to be a father that day, and he's in the pound. And just to say God is with her, it's going to be okay. To bring comfort, to bring hope, to bring healing, to speak life. That we're planting seeds. I don't get to see 20 people put your hand up, give your life to Jesus. That's not what I'm there for. The Lord told me, go and let them encounter my love. Yes. Inside the song, the badge is just entertainer, gospel, blah, blah, but it's actually literally just to get in the door so you can speak, sing, preach, pray, and just represent Jesus in every way, shape, and form, and hopefully with a bit of music in there. And they let down their guard. They let it down usually within 3 songs. I usually do some gospel-flavoured covers that they've heard before, and all their staunch is all, and then they kind of, and then you sing the gospel straight into their heart, and they go, what did you do to me, lady? What was that? I'm like, that was God. When we were in Mount Eden just 2 days ago, one guy came up, and we didn't have much time to spend with the prisoners afterwards. I had a half an hour to get from one side of the jail to the other, pack down all the gear, move, and set up, and so very limited time to speak with him. But this guy, he came to me and he said, you just took me on a journey. I had love, I had joy, I was able to let go, I've been able to, I realised that I need to forgive, and it's like, I just went through this massive journey in this half 40-minute concert that you just did. Something just happened to me, I don't even know what that is. And that was God. So, it was 54 concerts. Normally it would have been 65 if I got the ones that were all booked. It was just under 1,000, 987 prisoners, would have been 11, 12, 1,300. But, God, if He can move in those lives, and they go back and tell their cellmates, and they move around from jail to jail, they get transported, but if they can encourage those around them to trust in God as well. Some are saved, some are not. Some used to be, some come back, some have never heard of God. All of them had the chance to encounter Him. Thank you for praying. Your prayers have moved God's hands. Tonight we're going to do a demo of what the prison concert was like. So at 7 p.m. here, bring anybody and everybody you like, and it's just literally a sharing exactly what I do in the prison with you guys. So probably the same way that I talk, the same way that I do the music, and so it's a really general outreach. And then Jeff can get up and get everyone saved afterwards. Thank you very much. Please come 7 p.m. tonight. Thank you.
Have decided to follow Jesus. I have to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Jesus.